Hi everyone. So, today I'm going to be covering the judgments, and in this particular video, I'm talking about extroverted thinking, or what we like to call extroverted logic. So, first I'm going to say what that is not. So, that's not anything to do with procedures, with rules, structures, making people do things, bossing people about. It's got nothing to do with that. And the misconception of this has led to, I think, a lot of people being mistyped as ENTJ that are not ENTJ. So you think of a sort of that figure like a Napoleonic figure, this sort of big boss character. No, that's not an ENTJ. That's more often than not an ESTP. It's ESTP that has that more forceful, more primal dominance, backed up by structure, which we'll go into in the introverted thinking video, that essentially ends up laying down their decree and making things the way they want it to be and organising everyone in that kind of way. That's not extroverted thinking at all. Neither is extroverted thinking that sort of OP, objective personality thing, which is about building your sense of how to think by going out and talking to all sorts of other people to find out what they think and deriving your view from the consensus, the tribe thought, you could say. No, extroverted thinking actually is quite a bit to do with thinking for yourself. So it's not. It's almost the opposite of that. There are cases where, say, someone has valued extroverted thinking, say we call it suggestive function or like an inferior function, and they're not strong at extroverted thinking, so they seek it from other people. That could look like that. They often can end up typing as extroverted thinking types in OP, but that's not extroverted thinking itself. So let me say what it is. So it's a judgment. So it's prescriptive, oughts, correct, incorrect. How things ought to be, what is better, what is worse, etc. It is going to be thinking, right? And thinking is external. So that means, by being external, right, that it is information which is directly shareable. And we know that thinking is directly shareable because we transfer knowledge, right? We transfer what we know, what the facts we know about the world directly, right? I can tell it to you. You can learn that. You can apply that. You can apply the structured and worked out according to methodologies, knowledge and wisdom in your life for how you do things in your life. That's directly shareable. It doesn't have to be reinterpreted. It is the thought itself carries across, and we derive our thoughts from observing how things work, right? So you know that if you were to apply a rule or a structure, you'd know, and everyone would be able to agree if something is not in the rules, something does not work better. Oh, the situation is we've now produced fewer apples than we did yesterday, so we know this method we're using is worse. So it's external. We can all share in that data. This is why you have the scientific literature, and this is why we can all read those articles to get a sense of the world around us, right? So that's one thing. Thinking is external. It's also detached. It's something which you don't feel, you think about. Hence why the Myers-Briggs people, they call it thinking. You think about it. Logic is detached. So all information that is external and detached, so basically information which is, you don't feel it, you can't perceive it like this, you can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, but nevertheless it is directly shareable. That is data. That is methodologies. That is wisdom. That is knowledge. That is how we both make sense and come to know our world. That is the realm of thinking. And right, and these sort of facts, again, these are not. Some people think that extroverted sensation is about facts, but it's about perceptions. It's perceptive The perceptive fact is this is blue and I can see it's blue and I'm experiencing that. But collecting and crunching data quantitatively, that's not really a perceptual thing anymore. Instead, it's about knowledge, and it carries an ought to it in terms of, is it correct data, is it accurate data, or is it inaccurate data? It can be right, it can be wrong. Facts and propositions about our world are either right or they're wrong. They are correct or incorrect. And some propositions are, this is better than that. That is a more accurate representation. That is producing a better outcome. These are all thinking-based judgments. So yeah, always objective, very objective, which is objectivity in that sort of both sorts of sense. Impersonal objectivity is very much that thinking extrovertedness. So externality and detachedness. So that is what thinking is. Now within thinking, we're talking about extroverted thinking now. So again, the dichotomies apply in a different combination now. So the idea here is that if something is extroverted thinking is extroverted, it's also dynamic rather than static. Different for the perceptions. If they're extroverted, they're static. Now it's dynamic. So what does dynamic extroverted thinking look like? What is that about? Well, first of all, the idea here is it's no longer about distinct separate things. Instead, it's holistic. It is a coming together of lots of things. But it's not about refining anymore. It's not about, because it's extrovert, it's no longer refining this holistic, ever-changing thing. It is about increasing it, accumulating it, maximizing it. So it's not like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, which is very static in its extroversion. Now it's about how much more can we make this? How much better can we make this? How can we improve this? How can we advance this further? How can we make this thing optimum and keep it optimum in an environment where facts are continuously changing? And that is the point for extroverted thinking. It is a very fluid approach to thinking. I call it pragmatism. The reason I call it pragmatism is very much there's no absolute truth. It depends on the situation. And you need to utilize your thinking to figure out what are the facts of the situation and how can you, using those facts and other knowledge you've acquired, come up with a methodology that works best. And the idea is that things will continue to improve. Look at technology. Look how we've gone from the hand axe to the spear to the bow and arrow, the crossbow, the musket, the machine gun, the atomic bomb. The advancement of technology is based on the idea that circumstances are changing and we're constantly having to improve how we kill people in the case of weaponry. But there are many other examples, right? The computer, the camera recording me right now, all based on looking at how things work, finding out how things can be improved based on more data that we've acquired. That is what extroverted logic is all about. Having, first of all, right, a methodology for how to effectively and accurately gather information. Accuracy of data is very important for extroverted thinking. And accuracy, it's not structural. It is, are these actually the facts? Have these facts been gathered in the right way? Have we made certain that this is a reliable process for gathering data? And then, are these facts therefore true, or are we simplifying? Are we generalizing? Because extroverted thinking does not like to simplify and generalize. When someone who's extroverted thinking in the leading function explains something to you, it's probably going to be quite long, and they're probably not going to like you paraphrasing what they're saying, because they're trying to give you all the facts that are relevant. And they are trying to, in giving you all the facts that are relevant, tell you the truth as it is, accurately, so that you can derive that and you can reproduce and use that as well effectively. They don't want you to miss out on information which will actually be useful. And this is the point, it's the use, how well things are working and the use of ensuring that it is working well. This is extroverted thinking, and therefore from that, making the continuous improvements. So extroverted types, they don't really, there's never a rest to this. It's an ongoing thing of improving how things are working. So yes, that is what extroverted thinking is about. We see this in lots of different figures, people who work in technology, in business. There's often this idea of being able to think for yourself. Why think for yourself? Because you need to be competent. You need to be capable. Extroverted thinking types are all about acquiring and applying knowledge well. So competence is a very key thing. Instead of a hierarchy of power, it's about finding a hierarchy of competence, because it's the idea that you can improve and get better from facts and do things more effectively, provide actual value in terms of how you work, and that value is not emotional value, it is facts value. I have produced, I've optimized this process. I can pick 90 apples in 1 minute rather than 3 apples in 1 minute. That is factually an improvement. That is what extroverted logic is all about. So yeah, that's extroverted logic. I hope that was helpful. I'll cover the next one, introverted thinking, in the next video.